Testing part 2. Testing part 3.
And that's the reason he built it. Okay. I got that all on film. That sounded awesome. I know. Great. You'll live in infamy.
Hello everyone and welcome back. What you just now heard was an AR pistol, 7.5 inch build, chambered for 223/556 with a binary trigger system from Fostech Echo. Those same people that owned the pistol were kind enough to let me shoot it that day and kind enough to let me do some chronographing with it as well. I wasn't sure if I'd ever have a chance to really use that data or that footage until recently, when once again I was out at the range doing some more chronographing for another video, and someone else pulled up, and this person had a Kalashnikov KP9. And once again, they were kind enough to let me fire their weapon, enjoy it, and do some chronographing with it as well. So I figured it's high time to do a video between a 9mm and a 223 or 556. 9mm when it's coming out of a carbine length barrel, and a 556 when it's coming out of more of a pistol length barrel like a 7.5 inch build or a 10.5 inch build. Now the goal of today's video isn't to steer you in either direction, not to steer you into building an AR pistol for 223 or an AR pistol chambered for 9mm or to run out and get a Kalashnikov KP9. The goal of today's video is to merely make you better informed on what you can expect ballistically from a 9mm when it comes out of a carbine length barrel, or from a 223 when it comes out of a pistol length barrel, such as 7.5 inch or 10 inches. At any rate, we're going to start by giving you the chronographing data that I've compiled, and then we'll go right out into the field and we'll do some testing with each to kind of give you a chance to see what happens when we take the numbers off the paper and begin to apply them in the real world. If you like today's video, please remember to click the like button, do subscribe, and turn on the notifications link if you haven't already done so. And as always, we're looking forward to your comments. And one final thought. Sometimes I say it because I'm sure, and other times I say it until I know. But regardless, I still say, the best is yet to come. Enjoy today's video, and I'll be working on the next one.
Well, I recognize that there are a lot of numbers to look at here, but I think that we can start to make sense of it. All of the ammunition is going to be PMC bronze, so we've got that solved right away. On the 9mm, we're going to go with a 115 grain ball. And on the 223, we'll go with the 55 grain ball ammo. So we've solved 2 columns already. Now when it comes to chronographing the 9mm, I have chronographed this 115 grain ball out of a Glock 17 quite a bit in the past. Typically it comes in at around 1157 feet per second. That's 342 foot-pounds worth of energy. The Glock 17 has a 4.49 inch barrel, so call it 4.5 inches for easy math. That's going to be something similar to what you might expect if you went with a SIG MPX, which happens to have a 4.5 inch barrel. Now if you wanted to go with a little bit longer barrel length, and you wanted to go with something like a 9 inch build, 8 inch build, or maybe you didn't want to go with an AR platform, but you wanted to go with the Kalashnikov KP9, for example, which I did have a chance to shoot one of those the other day when I did some chronographing. And when I was chronographing it, easy gun to shoot, a lot of fun. The ammo was always running between 1250 to 1270 feet per second, real consistently. So I'm just going to say 1260 feet per second on average for that one, 405 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. And when I tested the 16 inch barrel AR-15 platform, that same ammo was coming in at about 1228 feet per second, 385 foot-pounds of energy. Now I wouldn't get too worked up over the fact that the 9 inch barrel was spitting out more velocity than the 16 inch barrel. You got to remember this is plinking ammo, so they're not really packing these things as full of powder as what you might expect in a NATO round or as what you might expect in just premium ammunition. So some of this is ammunition dependent, where you could easily see these numbers be, flip-flopped, or at least certainly a virtual dead heat. But in terms of striking power, no matter which one you wanted to go with, whether it be the 9-inch barrel or the 16-inch barrel, either one will be hitting substantially harder than a 4.5-inch barrel. How much harder? Well, if you're engaging targets at 25 yards, this 16-inch barrel, you'll have 347 foot-pounds of energy compared to 312. That's a difference of 11.2% more energy. If you went with a KP9, for example, and you're delivering 363 foot-pounds at 25 yards compared to 312, now you're at 16.3% more energy. Now, in terms of the AR platform, if you wanted to go with a 7.5-inch pistol build, I have chronographed those 55 grain rounds right around 2370 feet per second at the muzzle. So that's about 685 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. At 25 yards, where you might expect to engage targets, for example, and I'm not saying it couldn't reach out a lot further than that, I'm not saying that at all, but just to compare apples to apples, you would be hitting with 637 foot-pounds of energy. And even if you compared that to the very best of what the 9mm could offer at 363, you're still at 75% more energy in the 223. Now, when we do our testing today, we will be using the 16-inch platform. We're going to shoot a target at 25 yards. And we're going to try to compare that to a 10.5-inch build at 25 yards. Now, the tricky thing is this. I don't have a 10.5-inch build in my inventory right now. So we're going to use a 16-inch build, and we're going to shoot that one at 100 yards. We're going to give that bullet a chance to slow down. So when that bullet does get there at 100 yards, it'll be doing about 2533 feet per second, delivering 783 foot-pounds of energy, which is pretty much in the neighborhood of a 10.5-inch build at 25 yards. A lot of people, when they think of a 9mm or a 223, they think of those two bullets that are right in front of you. The 9mm, of course, is on the left, and the 223 is on the right. But what happens when you strip it all away? What are you really left with? When you strip it all away, here's what you're left with. Once again, the 9mm is on the left, the 223 is on the right. Now keep in mind, both of these bullets do tumble sooner or later at some point. The 9mm usually tumbles later, and the 223 usually tumbles sooner. But you have to ask yourself this. When the 9mm tumbles, how much additional damage really happens anyway? Also, when it tumbles, it tends to tumble more or less forward in a straight line. But when the 223 tumbles, there's more of a boomerang effect with it. You don't know which direction it's going to go, and certainly a lot more damage happens. We'll be shooting this 10-pound block of clay from a distance of 25 yards with a 9mm, 115 grain, full metal jacket, PMC bronze, out of a 16-inch carbine. Well, we're walking up to the 10-pound block of clay that was just now hit at a distance of 25 yards with a 115 grain full metal jacket 9mm out of a 16-inch carbine. I have pulled off the sticker already. One nice thing about the carbine, it certainly makes it easier to hit dead center. You can see the entry side right there. See that in relation to my hand. The water jug that was right behind the opening block of clay is right here. Here's the entrance side on it. Here is the exit side. Water jug number 2 got hit right about there. Had some hydrostatic damage at the back. Water jug number 3 got hit right about there. The bullet went whizzing right out the back. We will not be able to recover that today, and I will not keep you waiting any longer. Here is what the block of clay looks like on the exit side. Here's what that looks like in relationship to my hand. Let's turn this around a little bit. There you have it. You can see some water is inside of there as well. We'll be shooting at this 10-pound block of clay, distance 100 yards, using a 223 55 grain full metal jacket PMC bronze. Walking up right now to the 10-pound block of clay that was just hit at a distance of 100 yards with a 223, using a 55 grain full metal jacket, PMC bronze. It looks like it was probably pretty close to a dead center hit. It certainly lifted the clay off of the target. It looks like this would be the bottom part of the clay right there. That was the part that was facing the basket, facing the crate, that is. And let's see what happened underneath of it here. Looks like it put a pretty good sized cavity on it. Can fit my hand in the cavity, it would appear. The water jug that was behind, that was first in line, this is what it looks like now. So some pretty good hydrostatic damage on that first water jug right behind the clay. This second water jug in line also absorbed some damage. Let me see if there's any bullet fragment in this guy. It does not really appear that there is. And then the third water jug back looks like he absorbed some damage also. And I have a feeling that we're going to find some type of bullet remnant in here. Yeah, there's definitely some part of the bullet in there right now. We do not have any exit on that third water jug. And it would certainly appear that this is all that's left of that 55 grain full metal jacket. It's just basically a jacket, no real lead in there that I can tell. I'll weigh that when I get home and see what that weighs. Maybe 6, 7, 8 grains is my guess. We'll find out. We'll be shooting at these water jugs from a distance of 100 yards with a 223, using a 55 grain full metal jacket, PMC bronze. walking up right now to the water jugs that were just hit at a distance of 100 yards with a 223 using a 55 grain full metal jacket PMC bronze. It's gotten a little bit windy out here, so I've picked up the first water jug already. Here it is. It looks like I hit it more or less where the target was. The target is gone over there. The target was right there, so I hit it, you know, pretty close to dead center. This second water jug in line is just a mangled mess. The wind is just picking it up and moving it around. It will. The third water jug in line is right here, also a mess. The fourth water jug in line, you can see where the bullet may have been tumbling when it went through there. Went right out the back, right there. Looks like nothing at all will be recovered on that 55 grain today.